So this is a 3-year-old by our stud. Show me the buckles. And he's had less than 10 days of any kind of roping. Like, I've tracked a lead steer around the arena. I normally wouldn't even be doing anything in the box at all, but we have a handful of steers that trot and slow lope, and it's 0 amount of pressure for him. So having these steers right now is a good chance to introduce him to some of this, and just it'll help the process out later on. But I'm just tracking some out, following them down. I may rope, I may not rope, I may ease off. It's very slow. I'm just trying to get him used to the box and everything else. Whoa. You were asking about when I turn and don't turn. Like, this horse has had maybe 5 to 10, at least 5, no more than 10 days on a track steer. And then I piddled around on him a day or two ago, just following some of the end of the arena out of the box, but I haven't necessarily roped any out of the box. And like, backstory, he's only a 3-year-old, and some of our team roping community would say, well, he don't turn 3 until May. He turned 3 January 1st, because that's how it works. But he's a 3-year-old, and like I said, has had maybe for sure less than 10 days even on a lead steer. So I mean, he doesn't know anything. So to answer the question of when I ease him off and when I don't, like then he picked up his left lead leaving the box. I'm going slow enough. I normally probably wouldn't even be tracking any out of the box, but we just happen to have enough slow steers that I can do it with absolutely 0 amount of pressure. And if for some reason he picked up his right lead, I won't pick a fight about it, but I'll rope and just kind of stay there for a minute and then ease him off to the left, just enough that he has to switch leads, and then that'll kind of be the release of the run. Like after he switches over to the left, I'll go on about my business and do something different. But I want to make sure that no matter if I rope the cow or just track him to the end or whatever, that he finishes in his left lead every single time.
Are there attributes of Buckles that he has that like make this an easier process for him?
He's incredibly good-minded, and he's the farthest along of anything I've rode. Like he's 3 and most everything I have is 2. And the 3-year-olds I have are like this one, are just very trainable, very quiet. They all want to ride good. And so that's the main thing that I'm seeing, like as far as a pattern. You know, Dagger, he turned 5 this year, and then we had a gap to where we didn't have any 4-year-olds. We have one 4-year-old, and we bought him as a 3-year-old from a lady that hadn't done anything with him except halter broke him. So he was about to turn 4 and hadn't never even had a saddle on his back. So this 3-year-old crop is the oldest crop we have coming behind Dagger. And Dagger, his big deal was he was incredibly talented, and he's stupid athletic and real stingy, and he was incredibly trainable with that. And normally horses that have that amount of sting and talent to them, there's a longer training process. It takes them, it's hard to get them solid. And Dagger as a 4-year-old was our most solid horse. He's like riding a 10-year-old. And so I'm excited to see these horses have that same mind, because it helps the process out, it speeds it up, and the end product is always more solid when it didn't take forever to get them to that point.
When you're talking about sting, what do you mean?
Just like Dagger and all these horses have a ton of feel. Like they're really light in their face, They're good in their sides. They have a lot of feel. They have a lot of action, and they're just, I just say they're stingy. And a lot of people say that horse has a lot to him. You know, I say the horse is stingy, and I like that because like this horse, if you ride him around, he's super broke, has a ton of feel, but he's real good minded too. A lot of times, like I was saying, when you get one that's really stingy, they're also fragile. And I've had horses in the past that they were stingy to ride, but they were goofy on the ground, or stuff bothered them. And like these horses are just, they're just good minded all the way around, and they still have the ability to do everything we need them to. Whoa. For the first time really like roping out of the box, like I said a minute ago, I had less than 10 days tracking a lead steer, and he pins his ears and goes and finds the cow on his own, goes to the cow good. And then like I said the other day, I just followed some to the end of the arena out of the box, but I didn't like actually go to any and rope them. And so I'm pretty tickled. This is a good example of how this colt has been all along, because he's just super compliant. He's pretty fun to ride. Like something you'll see me doing is like then I roped and I just kept tracking. I don't speed him back up to the cow, but I rope and I keep him going the same speed, because I want to teach him patience to wait on me. When I throw my rope, wait for me to give him the next cue. My only cue right now is either going to be if he's hung up in his right lead tracking, I may slow him down and ease him off to the left until he picks up his left lead and just let that be the end of the run, or I'm going to stop him just to teach him right now to start getting on his butt when I throw, you know.